You can use almost any kind of fabric for this. Find something attractive that you like. However, I find that 100% cotton does work best. The rope that I'll be using for this project is 100% nylon, and it's 1/2-inch rope. You can use, again, virtually any kind of width of rope. Just make sure you're going to be able to measure it first. So you'll need your fabric of whatever design that you like. I use a cardboard template that's been pre-measured to the size because I make a lot of these neck ropes. I'm going to give you the dimensions here coming up. A loop turner, which you can get at virtually any fabric or probably craft store. E6000 adhesive, it bonds to virtually anything, and we're going to use this for our crimp beads at the end. Pliers. These are little crimp ribbon ends. We're going to use these to secure the fabric and also put the jump rings and the clasp on these at the end of the neck ropes. Jump rings. Note that one is larger. The larger one is what we're going to use to secure the clasp into. It's a lot easier to find when you're hooking it behind your head. And lastly, a clasp. I love the lobster clasp because it's easier to get your fingers into. The copper tubing as the accent. I get these at my local hardware store. Again, they're the 1/2-inch, so I know that they're going to fit my neck ropes. Rotary cutter, you can just use regular scissors if you like, however the rotary cutter makes a big difference. So once you've laid out your fabric, you want to either measure or mark out or make a template like I did just at a cardboard or mat board. The dimensions that I use are 19 3/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches wide. Now that also allows me to have a seam that I can sew into as well. In centimeters, it's 50 centimeters by 6.5 centimeters. Now I know that this is going to give me enough fabric to wrap all the way around my rope while keeping the tube wide enough to slide easily over it and give me seam allowance for when I go to the sewing machine. I always take the rope with me just to double check. Take the fabric, wrap it around, remeasure again to make sure. You don't want the fabric to be super tight against the rope because you want to be able to easily slide it through. Also, you're going to be turning this inside out again, which means you're going to have extra fabric bulk inside from the seam you're about to sew. Once you've got everything checked out though, make sure your fabric is right side in and set it up so that you have enough space to sew the seam. I always just use a standard straight stitch. If you want to use a zigzag, I'm sure that's fine. However, I just sew in a little bit, go backwards a couple inches, and then continue to straight stitch the rest of the way down. Now that you have your loop sewn, what you're going to want to do is turn it inside out. So you can see that right now the seam is on the outside. So take your loop turner and you're going to want to insert it all the way through and slide all the fabric on so that it comes out the other end. There's a little hook that's on one end of the loop turner. And what you're going to want to do is hook your fabric into it so that you can pull it back out through the other end. Some have a little tab, so you have to watch out to make sure everything is open. Sometimes the tab helps close to hold the fabric. I find it doesn't make that much of a difference. Now you have the fabric tube turned all the way back right side out, so the seam is on the inside of the tube. Now you're ready to put the rope in. When you measure your rope, you should have it so that it's a little bit shorter than the fabric. You're going to need the ends of this fabric so that you can actually pinch it together with the clasps. I've used masking tape on the ends to keep the rope from fraying. It also makes it a lot easier to actually hook onto it to pull it through. Take your loop turner, put it all the way back through the fabric so that it comes out the other end. And now what you want to do is hook it onto the end of the rope. Now the masking tape is also something that helps keep the hook in place so it doesn't pull it through the actual fabric. Slide the end of the tube back over it. You'll have to fiddle with it a little bit with your fingers to hold it in place. Once you've got it fitted on, then you can start to pull on the other end of your loop turner to help you pull the rope gently through the fabric tube. Again, this is the part that's really important, so you'll know whether or not you made your loop too big or too small. Now that you've got that through, you've got everything pulled in, you've got a little bit of fabric on the edges, you can go ahead and add the copper tubing. Just insert one end into it and slide it all the rest of the way down to the center. You're ready to crimp the ends of your fabric. I pinch the fabric in a little bit, test it, make sure everything's going to be wide enough. If you need to trim the fabric down a little bit, feel free. This adhesive is really intense. It's not something to be used lightly or for just, you know, any kind of childcraft projects. However, it bonds to metal and to fabric and is really going to make a difference for keeping your project really secure so that when you're taking it on and off, it's not going to pull apart on you. It's just a little bit of glue is all you need. Pinch it together there on the ends and then use your pliers to squeeze those crimp ends shut, and it'll hold very securely. A little bit of glue may squeeze through the holes. Just use a toothpick to clear the glue from that area. Now you're going to want to take one of your jump rings, probably your largest one, and you want to bend it open and poke it through the hole that's on the end of that crimp. This is going to be the loop that your clasp is going to attach to when you wear it around your neck. Now go through the same process to end the clasp and the small jump ring with your lobster clasp on the other end. The glue usually needs about a full day to fully set and dry, but in the meantime you can attach your ends together and you have just completed a neck rope. You can combine any of the different colors, different lengths, different sizes of rope together. I have a large variety of them available in my shop on Etsy, and the link is provided in the description. Thanks for watching.